You geek. This is designer.
No, it's tuna noodle casserole.
Gross.
Gross is just one syllable.
I can't believe popular people like me are forced to share the same air as nerd herders like you.
I prefer the term film geek. I can't even keep a straight face at you reading those lines.
What do you mean? I feel typecast.
Hey, Val.
Hey, Al.
Welcome to D-Commentaries.
Thank you. Welcome to you and welcome to our listeners. Today, we're talking about Geek Charming.
Let's go to bingo. Oh, man, people.
Oh, no.
What a time we had watching this movie. It was funny because I almost watched the wrong movie. Texted Val.
Yeah, what did you almost watch?
I almost watched Frenemies.
Oh.
And it's because I just wrote it in my calendar of when we're recording Frenemies.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm glad that you checked.
Yes, and then I texted Val, regretting watching the correct movie.
Well, it's okay. We're going to have fun talking about this bad movie.
We are. Okay.
Are you ready to get to the business?
Val, are you good?
I'm great. How are you?
Good.
Great. All right. Geek Charming came out on 11/11/11.
That is really cool. I wish this was a better movie.
I know they blew it on this. It was directed by Jeffrey Hornaday, who doesn't have much of a directing resume, but he did direct Teen Beach Movie and Teen Beach Movie 2. He is a choreographer, first and foremost. So I found it interesting that he directed this movie because there's no choreography in it whatsoever.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was written by, so it's based on a novel.
Yes.
And the novelist is named Robin Palmer.
Okay.
And then it was the teleplay was written by a writing team because they have identical resumes. Elizabeth Hackett and Hilary Gallinoy.
Okay.
The two of them mostly have written like Hallmark type movies.
That makes sense.
Yeah, not a ton of stuff, but they both literally have identical resumes. The cast is as follows. Sarah Hyland played Dylan Schoenfield.
Yeah.
She is very much known for Modern Family. You know, she did all 243 episodes or whatever of Modern Family. But she's also a voice actor. She does a fair amount of voice work. She's done a couple other things, but definitely Modern Family is like her primary thing.
And she just finished up off Broadway with Andrew Barth Feldman in Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh, very fun.
She took over for Constance Wu, who was on with Corbin Bleu.
Oh, very cool.
I'm a big Sarah Hyland stan because of her lore with her husband Wells from The Bachelor. She like tweeted about him when he was on The Bachelor. I think he was in JoJo season, if I remember correctly. And then he like literally slid in her DMs, and they are now married.
That's really cool.
Yeah, she was like, if it doesn't work out for him, he's really cute. And then it's like so cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I like her a lot.
Nice. Well, before she married Wells, she dated the guy who played opposite her in this movie, Matt Prokop.
No way.
Yeah, they had dated for, it said like 7 years or something when they filmed this movie, which is kind of like when did they meet exactly? How old were they?
Yeah.
But yeah, so Matt played Josh Rosen. He was in High School Musical 3, but he stopped acting in 2013.
Okay.
And in my personal opinion, that was a good choice.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
For anyone who hasn't or has seen High School Musical 3, he is the one who is the like Troy Bolton like understudy. Just for putting that into perspective. And who knows, Val hasn't seen it because it was a feature film. Maybe we'll watch it one day. Who knows?
Yeah, probably. Sasha Pieters played Amy Lubaloo, our bohemian princess. She is best known for Pretty Little Liars. She was one of the leads on Pretty
Alison
Little Liars.
De Laurentiis.
Well, there you go. Then we have Jordan Nichols, who played Asher Duments. He stopped acting in 2011. Again, great choice. Vanessa Morgan played Hannah Mornell. I believe that's one of her friends. Or friends in quotes. She has a pretty long resume. She's been in a bunch of episodes of The Latest Buzz, My Babysitter's a Vampire, Finding Carter, and most recently Riverdale. Oh, which, fun fact, my husband watches.
I watched it for a couple seasons and then it got to be too much.
He like weirdly got like really pulled in by like the teen drama, which I was just like, this is so funny to me that you like this. If you knew Michael, you would understand why I thought that was really entertaining.
Yeah.
Anyway, Lily Simmons played her other friend Lola Layton, I guess is her full name. She's been in a fair amount of stuff too. She was in Bone Tomahawk, Banshee, Ray Donovan, and most recently Power Book 4: Force, which I had never heard of, but she was in many episodes of it, so I figured
Force, the colonoscopy doctor TV show.
Force. Get your GI Jane
checked.
Anyway, David Del Rio played Ari, who was one of the film friends. He was in The Troop and Maggie, among other things.
He was also in Pitch Perfect.
Oh, I missed that.
Yes.
Cool.
IMDb, Val. You gotta look at it.
I did.
And then he's currently going to be in Matlock with...
Right. Is he like a main character? I saw he was in one episode.
I don't know. Maybe he was only in one episode, but it said opposite Kathy Bates. And I was like, oh, maybe.
Oh, okay.
I think maybe there is only one episode out.
Okay. Well, then maybe he's a lead on it. That's cool. I liked him. I thought he was a pretty good actor in this with what they gave him. Mm-hmm. Jimmy Bellinger played Steven, the other male film friend. And he's a pretty prolific character actor. Some of the things that he was in are Liv and Maggie, Not Dead Yet. And he was in what I consider to be an underrated teen film called Blockers.
Oh, that was a good movie. That's the one with the parents are like,
trying to stop their kids from losing their virginity on prom.
Oh, fun.
It's so funny. Like, it's truly really great. And it's good for both adults and teens because the parents are like also main characters. So like you can kind of relate to one or the other or both, you know, depending on how you're feeling.
Ike Barinholtz is in that movie, yeah?
Yes. And John Cena is in that movie and he's very funny in it. Yeah, it's great. And the girls who play like the teenagers are also really great in that movie.
Yeah.
I forget their names. Lily Birdsell played Sandy Rosen, who is Josh's mom, and probably my favorite character in this movie. She is a pretty prolific character actor, but she hasn't really been in like anything for more than 1 or 2 episodes. But tons of credits. But she was in Palm Springs, another movie that I don't know if it got enough attention, but it was very, very good.
We mentioned it on one of our podcasts recently when I tried to get you to guess what it was and you couldn't remember the name of it.
That's right. Great movie. Couldn't guess it. Andrew Airlie played Alan Schoenfield, who is Dylan's dad. He is also a very prolific character actor. He has credits going back to 1990. And one of the things that stood out to me was he plays, I'm assuming, the main guy's dad in 50 Shades of Grey, because his like character's name is something Grey.
Oh, fun. I just watched all those too.
Oh, interesting.
For undisclosed reasons.
Okay. If you had just said that you watched them and not commented any further, no one would have thought anything of it. Now everyone is thinking something weird.
I don't know, guys. Why did I watch it?
I don't know. Well, we'll have to just wonder.
Look how small my mouth is, Val.
Wow. That's pretty amazing. And then there's a couple other characters, but I have no idea who they even played, so I'm not going to mention them.
Okay.
Okay. Synopsis is as follows, and unfortunately it's a little long, so I apologize. Dylan Schoenfield, Woodlands Academy's top girl, accidentally drops her fashionable and very expensive handbag into the mall fountain. She is surprised when film geek Josh Rosen retrieves it for her. However, in exchange for him rescuing her bag, Dylan has to agree to be the subject of Josh's documentary. Dylan hopes the film will help her campaign to become Blossom Queen and claims that winning is her main goal in life. I mean, nothing about that is technically inaccurate, but A, it's a ton of information for a synopsis, and B, it's not really the point.
Yeah.
Like, it also makes Dylan seem like a side character, and he's very much like the co-lead rather than like, Josh. He's like the co-lead of the movie.
I would say this is just as much his movie.
It is 100% just as much his movie. There are two people talking to the camera like it's Modern Family, not one.
I hope that deep sigh was loud enough to be captured on record.
All of the fun facts have already been mentioned in previous bits of the business, so I don't need to review them further. And so business is done.
Great.
Al,
yeah.
What were your first impressions of this film?
Interesting you call it a film, Val. Boy, did I not like this one. Which makes me so sad because I love Sarah Hyland. I'm giving it like a 3.5.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's not good. There was really not much that I liked about it, which is so sad. I just was kind of like annoyed throughout it. I don't know if it was the writing. I don't know if it's just the story I don't like.
Yeah.
It was a hard watch. Even when I paused it, waited 12 plus hours and picked it back up. It was tough. Although, Val, I have a theory. And my theory is that Sarah Hyland was cast and Alison DeLaurentis from Pretty Little Liars was cast because they were trying to pull in those audiences, because Modern Family is ABC and Pretty Little Liars was ABC Family. So they wanted to cast like two people in the movie who would be like, let's keep this fresh.
Yeah.
That's my theory.
And I will say this, the two of them are good actors and they were doing what they could with what they were given. Like, I have no criticism in terms of the performance of either of them. Yeah. There's just so many issues, and I'll talk about it more in my section, but yeah, like I think
you're so right. Go.
No, that's it. That's all I was gonna say. It's not that they were bad. It's just the movie was bad.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't ever need to see this again. Okay. Val, what are your first impressions?
So for the second time in like 4 episodes, I wrote as my first note, I hate this girl already, or like I hate this main character already. Like the reason why Mean Girls works is because there is an audience proxy, and it's Katie, right? Like if Regina George were the lead of the movie, it would not work.
Yeah.
Or even if one of her friends were the lead of the movie, it would not work, right? You need someone who the audience can relate to and see them through her eyes. And then it's okay if like she even temporarily or even I guess permanently like becomes like them, but she can't start like them because you have to be on the lead's side, right?
Yeah.
And like just out of the gate, she's just so asinine. And then like he's honestly not any better, like in terms of his character's personality. Like he's just kind of like, he's also mean and like uncaring. It's just in a different flavor. The two of them are just kind of unlikable. And then they have this mechanism, which I kind of alluded to earlier, where they're talking to the camera every so often. And it's like very random when they decide to use this mechanism. Like it doesn't feel like cohesive throughout the entire movie. It's sort of like they heavy up on it a lot at the top and then you kind of forget about it in the middle and then they kind of do it again at the end. And it doesn't help them. if anything, it makes them even less likable. Like to hear their perspective, like in the middle of this memory. And like the cold open that we read, literally, I didn't have to rewind like I normally do because they very literally did the same scene twice so that we could like quote unquote see it from each of their perspectives. But we didn't need to see the actual dialogue of their interaction twice. We just could have seen the lead up to it from their different perspectives. It was, I don't know. The whole movie, I wrote at one point, like towards the, like maybe 2/3 in, I was like, this movie feels like it's 3 hours long and like it should have been a television show because there's like so many things going on. Yeah. There's so many like turning points and like climaxes and like all of these things. And it's just, and again, it suffers from that same thing of like not learning and like making the same mistake over and over and over again. Mm-hmm. And like they do this thing which like actually they did in the other movie where I wrote, I hate this person, which is Den Brother, where it's like, we are supposed to now like them because their mom died. Like it is literally the same mechanism. Like, well, we have to have empathy for this incredibly unlikable person because their mom died. That is literally the only reason why we should like them. And like, frankly, I think the movie would have worked totally fine if it didn't have that mechanism. Like the only, like, yes, it made it, I guess, more like make more sense why she like desperately wants to win the homecoming queen, Blossom Queen, whatever. But like you could have made any reason, like any like logical reason why she would want to win that. And there's this whole scene where I don't know, I'm getting too deep into it. But anyway, like I just was very put off by these characters. The side characters are pretty fun and are like decent actors for the most part. But the main characters are just so unlikable. And like, again, it's this era of DCOMs where they're trying to like be clowns, but also like have serious subject matter and kind of like, there's just like too much going on. Yeah. Just set a clear, realistic premise and just have them take it seriously. Even if there's some crazy thing like magic or whatever, like they have to take it seriously and it has to be like real within the parameters of this like world. That's it. Those are the only two criteria to make a DCOM. So anyway, I didn't like it either. All this to say, I didn't.
Val's
like
18-page essay ends with, I didn't like it either.
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. You're passionate. I'm passionate about Geek Charming.
I just look forward to when this era is done. And I know that it will be. I know that it will be. So I'm just kind of like trying to make it through. Yeah. I've said this like a million times, but I'm going to say it again because it's still true. Like when they stop writing for kids or for teens is when these movies will get good again. Like just write it like it's a regular
just film a script. Movie.
Yeah. And then it'll be fine. It'll be good.
Yeah. That's why Pixar movies work.
Exactly. Because they want the parents to enjoy the movie as much as the kids. Yeah. And you don't need to write down to kids. Just like how in improv, you play to the top of your intelligence.
Wow. Buy Val's book. Yes, Val.
Yes, Al. Okay. Al, do you have any favorite quotes or moments?
Yeah, a couple. I hated when she sprayed the perfume, but she didn't spray it. She went like this. Like she didn't squeeze it down. She just like touched the top. I hated that. And then I had to watch it twice. I had to watch her do it twice because it's the same as our cold open. I thought that there were a lot of weird editing choices in this movie. Yeah. Like so many weird camera zooms and zoom out and like POV and then the interviews. Like it was, I think, okay, this is such an aside. I think the interviews throughout a la Modern Family would have made sense if they were in his original, like his film and we were watching the film.
Yeah. And they could have done it a la When Harry Met Sally. And then at the end have them doing one together. Yes. Like that would have been cute.
It was just a bad editing choices. He tried to close his car door, but his car was super old and the score was playing in the background. And when he tried to shut it and it didn't close, the music stopped. It was funny. There was some ADR going in the background of the volleyball game, and it was killing my ears.
Mm-hmm.
Amy is in a band called Blue Tangerine, but I misheard her and thought it was Gluten Dream. I had to rewind and look at the subtitles because I was like, there's no way her band is called Gluten Dream. You can tell that they shot this movie. It was shot in Vancouver for tax purposes, but you could tell that they filmed during a very cold part of the year because every time they were outside, someone had a red nose, like as if they were like super sniffly. And then any nighttime shot, you could see their breath. So it was like cold when they were filming. So those are all my moments. And then my quotes are, shopping improves the economy. Oh, how thoughtful. We see this a couple times, so I didn't like it when it came back. But what are your plans after school? Pilates, but not on Tuesdays. That's yoga. Val just rolled her eyes. And then I'm going to go see if the DJ will let me go spin a few. I liked that Amy said spin a few. Yeah, that's it, Val. Okay. Okie doke. What are your favorite quotes and moments?
Okay. At one point he looks at her and he goes, I have no words. None.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And that's how I felt about this movie. Actually, I have lots of words about this movie. At one point she says, I see you brought your non-tourage.
I liked funny. That. Mm-hmm. And
then he said, I'm not used to sweating. Josh, upload on the lingo already. When's this stupid dorkumentary over?
The dorkumentary.
I like that. That's it for quotes. Yeah. My favorite moment is that he has this inexplicable hot Scottish film teacher.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he was actually Scottish, but he was leaning into that accent real hard. And I was here for it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd watch a movie just with him.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Another thing that I liked about this, Val, was when she gives him a makeover, and it wasn't too drastic of a makeover that it was like, I changed everything about you because you were like ugly before. It was just like a haircut and a clothes change, because I feel like you look at a lot of the like geek to chic makeover movies. It's like, I'm taking off your glasses and, you know, and you blah, blah. Like, I think his was a little bit more subtle, and I liked that they didn't go like too overboard with him, like looking too geeky, quote, before.
I think like the message behind that was actually pretty good. It was more like put in effort rather than like change everything about yourself. You know what I mean? Because like his whole thing at the beginning is like, I don't care enough to try to make friends, to try to dress well, to try and do my hair, try and do anything. Right. And like what she was basically saying is like, you have to try if you want anything in life. Right. And he sort of like learned that from her and then applied it to his like film making. So like, there were some like glimmers of like good things in this movie, right? Like good ideas and like interesting points of view. It's just the execution was just terrible in pretty much every respect. Oh, and my other favorite part is anytime his mom was in the scene, because she was delightful.
Yeah, she was a really good actress. I liked her.
Yeah, and she was pretty and she was nice, and she like got him and like got the situation like way before the kids did, which was cool.
Yeah, Val likes pretty nice people.
I like pretty nice moms. I have like if you listen to our catalog of episodes, I probably mention it more than almost anything else. If there's a pretty nice mom in the film, I'm gonna notice. All right. I think
you know what's next.
Yep.
We're on film.
I was gonna say we're doing our makeover, but we haven't put our shirt on yet.
And I'm filming it a la 50 Shades of Grey. Talk Pops are off. We're in spoiler city. This is where I spoil the movie by doing the entire synopsis for you. Let us begin. Dylan wins Blossom Queen, but it's a dream. We're in school. She's signing up to win Blossom Queen. She's a ditzy, mean, popular girl, and it's very Regina George, as we mentioned. And then she has convinced herself that once she wins Blossom Queen, she's going to be the most popular girl in the school. I'm going to be the most popular girl at the party. That's a TikTok. Okay. Val.
I don't know.
And then she goes through the cafeteria and she's like pointing at the tables of like who's going to vote for her. Like this section is so Mean Girls. It's so funny.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's another mean girl. So this is a weird plot where there's like two mean girls and she's one of the mean girls. And this other mean girl is like her competition. I don't really mention her a whole lot throughout, but she is there throughout this movie, and not good. And then we have cuts to the side, which is our narration, but it's like, it doesn't happen often enough that it makes sense to have it. Like we go like full 30 minutes without getting one. And then you're like, oh, I forgot we were doing this. And then kind of like pulls you out. It's annoying. Mm-hmm. So she physically runs into a nerd and he like spills his whole food on her. That's where we get our cold open. And then he starts to narrate and you roll your eyes even more. And then we go back in time. This is what we're talking about. And we see his side of the story where he's like filming the lunch lady because he's in the film club. And then Sarah Hyland sprays perfume and she sprays it directly in his eyes, which causes him to trip and spill his tray on her. We find out that he is, his name is Josh. He is the film club president. And then he goes back to the film club table and they talk about Dylan's life as it's another dimension. Popular people are aliens from another world. You can tell that the one girl in the film club group out of the four of them has a crush on her. And then later he ignores her. And the other guy likes her, which is just such a weird storyline for this.
I hated it so much.
It just didn't make sense. Like, she should have just been a friend.
She literally just says at one point, I would go out with you, like, to him in the first scene where we meet her. And he just ignores it. And
the weird, like, she's, like, filming her mouth where she says, I love you.
It's awful. Like, it's awful. Like there's not really like a great depiction of a girl in this movie. Like I guess Amy is probably like
Amy's we like Amy.
Self-possessed and like knows herself and is like aware of what's going on more than any of the others. But like otherwise, like everyone sucks.
Everyone sucks. That's what this movie should be called. Okay, so but we can tell that Josh has a crush on Amy, who is an Alison DeLaurentis, whose real name I don't remember. So if you've never seen Pretty Little Liars, sorry. So she plays the guitar, and he has a crush on her. Okay, so then he has to win the film competition because he wants to go to Hollywood Film Camp. If you win the film competition, you get to like go to this film camp in Los Angeles, but he doesn't have an idea for the documentary that he wants to do yet. So then he goes to his Scottish, I put question mark because it didn't make sense that he was Scottish, but we like it. It was just didn't make sense. Who didn't like his initial idea about doing a documentary about the different kinds of robot voices. Okay, so then Dylan is at the mall with her dad. He's kind of a money guy and kind of like an ignore my child kind of dad. Don't worry, he has a character arc where he comes back around. But definitely, he's like a real estate guy for the mall, so he just owns a lot of property. And she asks him for marketing money for the Blossom Queen help, and he said no. So that's kind of good that he's not just like funding her life. He's like trying to give her some life experience. But then we see that Josh works at the Radio Shack. It's basically Radio Shack at the mall. And he sees Amy and is like, I'm going to put my jacket on and leave my job without telling anyone and walk out of the store with all of these phones that anyone could take for free. He just like follows her. But then he sees Dylan and she's getting attacked by a bee. Real thing that happened. And then her purse fell into the fountain. And so he jumps in to get the purse. And at this point, I write, I am 11 minutes and 45 seconds in and already rolling my eyes at this movie. Oh, okay. So then he saves her purse. He's stopping wet. Terrible interaction, terrible writing. Him just like watching it float away. He got in the fountain at the wrong spot. It's just. I
wrote the same thing. I was like, why on earth would he get into the fountain on the other side of where the purse is?
Dumb. So then they make a deal that he will do his documentary about her / popularity in high school. She says yes, because she wants the exposure so that she wins Blossom Queen. So then we see Dylan come home to her rich house, and Marta, who we can only assume is her housekeeper, is out of the house. And she puts her wet purse in the dryer, which we all know is a bad idea, but then it never comes back. So why did we even do that?
And also, like, Marta is not an actor. Like, they just didn't hire anyone.
But they just never had her be there. The limit does not exist. Okay, so then Amy, our guitar friend, posted a picture of her, like, on their equivalent of MySpace, of her and Dylan from 2nd grade, and it makes her think, And then she goes into the closet and is thinking, and we find out that her mom died that same year in 2nd grade. So she's very emotional about Amy's friendship and her mom. And she goes through her stuff, and the dress that she wore, we can only assume, and then we find out later, is the dress that she wore when she was Blossom Queen. So this is why she wants to be Blossom Queen so bad, because her mom did, and she finds that if she wins, she'll have this connection to her in that way.
Mm-hmm. Also, then we go to... Oh, sorry, real quick. The other piece of this is that the picture is from when they like won a science fair competition. And like, there's moments where Dylan like shows that she's actually really, really good at like math and science and things like that. But she tries to like hide it. So she like tries to make it out like she's stupid, but she's actually really, really bright. Okay, go ahead.
Really smart. And then like doesn't want to have any geeky anything. So like later like we find out more, but yes, because I don't think I wrote that down very much. So thank you, Val. So then we see Josh come home and he's like, Mouse, my dog. You're expecting a tiny dog. And no, the cutest Great Dane pops out. I would have watched a whole movie on just Mouse.
I know. I wrote Mouse in all caps.
Mouse. We love Mouse. And then we go into the kitchen and we find out that mom doesn't know how to cook, which is Val's hot mom, cool mom. And it's a bit throughout the entire thing. So then he goes to this Scottish teacher and he loves the idea of doing this on popularity, but he keeps telling him to seek out the truth. So basically, everyone, you already know where this is going. We're trying to find out, quote, the real Dylan. Cool. So basically she starts treating Josh as like an assistant as opposed to like someone who's filming her. It's like, hold my purse, do that, grab my this, blah, blah, blah. And then he goes to, quote, the ramp, which is where they sit. It's basically like if their cafeteria had a stage in it, is like the cool kids sit up on the stage. And he's like on his way to walk on the ramp and the Winklevoss twins try to stop him. But she waves him in and they let him go. And then also, the cafeteria is shocked. I
just want to point out too, there is no ramp. There are only stairs to get onto the ramp.
That's so funny. I didn't even notice. So then he like pulls her aside for an interview, which is different than the other interviews we see because they have like different lighting and stuff. So he's interviewing for the first time. We find out she likes fashion. She's dating this guy, Asher. Asher throughout this entire movie sucks as a character, as a person. I'm sure he's nice in real life, but woof.
He's just like an SNL's like side character. You know what I mean? Like he's just so caricature-y.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mean. And then we do another interview about being the Blossom Queen and the levels of popularity, where she says popular kids and not popular kids are like cats and dogs. Then we have another interview with her friends where they kind of talk negatively about her being a drama queen. And then Asher only likes her because she worships him. I thought that this was going to come back, which is why I wrote it down. It did not, but I thought that it was going to be one of those things where she watched her friends say that about her and then she realized it, which we'll find out later what everyone said and did. But I thought that was going to have more of an important moment, and it did not. Then he had another interview about her dream. And she has no plans if she loses, which is where we get our like Pilates. So she doesn't have any dreams. Her only dream is to be Blossom Queen, which we know isn't true because we see her when she's alone. She kind of is a little bit different of a Dylan. And then we see mom again. She's still bad at cooking. It's the bit. And she says sometimes they act a certain way because they have something else going on. Thought that was important to the story. I just wrote it down. And then we get to Asher's volleyball game. That's if me and Val played volleyball. It would be volleyball. And Asher is so mean to her. And the geeks are geeking, geeks at a beach. And then Amy is at the beach cleaning up trash because she's a good person. And then Dylan sees her and Josh talking, which I guess was for the first time. And she like throws a volleyball at him to get him to stop. So this is where we're like, okay, she's liking the attention that she's getting from Josh and she's jealous of everyone else, especially Amy, because they used to have a friendship. And then Amy and Dylan have a conversation for the first time since like 6th grade or something, which I don't know if it actually was 6th grade or not, but that's when they stopped being friends. Then we have another interview where she calls him out on liking Amy and he's like, what? No. And then she kind of like talks about their relationship a little bit, how they used to be friends. And then Asher wins the volleyball game and he's so rude to her. And she kind of like waddles away after he like runs away being like, I don't want to hang out with you. I'm going to hang out with the guys because we won. Her car was towed because she doesn't know how to have a car. Pay parking tickets. So Josh takes her home and she doesn't want to be seen with him. So she like lowers her head and then his car starts smoking. So they have to walk to the gas station and she twists her ankle and he carries her on her back. And then he calls her a diva and then they fight and then they fire one another. So another bit throughout this movie is she kept saying my movie and he kept saying his movie because she's using the movie for clout and he's using the movie as like, this is my assignment for an interest. Yeah. So really it is his movie. She's just being selfish, but that was something that happened the whole time. And so then he goes to the teacher and it's too late to change the subject. Like you got to stick to this popularity one. And so she goes to the Blossom Queen rally where the other popular girl is, getting attention. And she is realizing in this moment, she's like, oh, I'm kind of missing being filmed. I'm missing the vibes of Josh. So then she goes to this film festival because the girl who had a crush on Josh in the beginning with the film festival stuff, she like stole a brochure out of her bag and saw that like the film club was going to be at this film festival. And she like cuts in line and is like, hey, oh yeah, no, I was going to come here anyway. She hangs with the geeks. She actually like knows things about stuff and she kind of shocks them that she has like secret smarts. He calls her pretty and she's like, oh, you think I'm pretty? And he's like, wait, no. So then they rehire one another and he's like, okay, she's not a diva anymore. So we're starting to see this other side of Dylan. They talk about her house. He takes her home. They talk about her house and her mom. And then she invites him in where he films her doing like an ice cream vlog. Basically, like it's her making ice cream. It's
meant to be her like being cute and like carefree, 'cause she's like making a sundae out of everything. Which, by the way, actually, I have a question for you about this.
Yeah.
So she called the sundae the everything but the kitchen sink sundae.
Are you thinking Beach Club at Disney World?
Beaches and Cream. Isn't that the name of the sundae at Beaches and Cream?
It is called the kitchen sink. Because it is in a bowl that is shaped like a sink. And then you have all of the scoops of ice cream. And if anyone is ever thinking about going, I did this and you should do this, is they give you all of their flavors of ice cream and don't get the coffee ice cream in it because then the coffee ice cream will overtake every single one of the other flavors.
Interesting. Yes. Also, they now have a mini one. Sink,
that's nice.
And it's in a little mini, like Minnie Mouse, like container. It's really cute. My niece got one when they were at Disney last.
Nice. I haven't been there in a long time to Beaches and Cream.
It's like a tradition of Mike's family, so we go every time we're there.
Okay. Disney World aside, who? Us? Couldn't be. Okay, so then he asks her about Amy, and then he asks her about Asher, and then he asks her about Mom, and so they like have a more heart to heart. And then this is where she's like, they start to hang out a lot more. We get a montage of her giving him a makeover where he gets a haircut and he gets a clothes change, and then he invites her over for Indian food. where she's like meeting mom for the first time. And this is something I wrote as an aside. I wrote Allie aside. It just seems so disingenuous. Like it just didn't, their relationship at this point just didn't seem believable. I don't know. I just really did not. It's funny that they dated for 7 years because it just, I did not believe it in this movie.
I know.
And I'll share at the one point where I did believe it. But it's not here.
I felt the issue here was a couple things. One is he is a terrible actor. Like he's just a bad actor. Like every time he was supposed to be like upset or like worked up or whatever, it just felt like he was pretending. You know what I mean? Like you just didn't feel any genuine emotion from him. And also, I feel like she was often being directed to like be like this heightened, like annoying almost like girl. Like even when she was starting to kind of like let down the facade of like the cool girl, like she was still sort of like meant to be like this, you know, kind of cutesy, like whatever. And like it just didn't like make any sense. Like just have her be like a normal person. So that I think that for me at least is what caused that kind of to not feel
like the scene
real.
where she walks up for the film fest,
that felt fun.
That felt good.
Yes.
But then when she's playing this like heightened version, it was not good.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're at Josh's house and she's like talking to Josh's mom, like girl talk, which she like really liked because she doesn't have a mom.
Right.
And he was in the other room. And so she's talking to his mom about how he likes this girl and she has a boyfriend. And then they have like a fight in the kitchen and mom like secretly records it. Haha, cute. This is very Avalon High where I'm having someone over who like has a boyfriend, but we're going to get together. So then he goes to school with his new look. He's super nervous, but everyone starts to notice and give him more attention. His friends, the three friends from the film club get mad and they call him out on having a crush on Dylan. And he's like absolutely denying it. But he tells him, no, we're on for Saturday. I'll be at the Mathlete scavenger hunt. And I wrote, you can guarantee he will not be there on Saturday for the Mathlete scavenger hunt. And then we cut to her and her friends get mad and her boyfriend gets mad and she's promising the way that things will go back to the way that it was. But she's kind of second guessing of like, do I want to go back to the way it was with these people? Or do I really like spending time with Josh? Because they're mad that she's been spending more time with him than them. And then he asks Amy on a date on Saturday. What did I say? I called it. But then he's at work and then, Dylan's dad like comes over to him and like invites him out of the Radio Shack to go to his house. And he's like, oh yeah, I had to invite your boyfriend over. And she's like, he's not my boyfriend. And then guys, worst part of the movie, -10 out of 0. They have a burping challenge.
You didn't like that?
No, hated that. So then we cut to Saturday and he's on the Amy date and he's like, we could go to the movies. And she's like, and sit in the dark. I don't want to do that. And he's like, we could go do this. And she's like, they couldn't figure out what they wanted to do together, which is then showing us that they're not compatible.
Right. He like wanted to take her to a burger place or something. And she's a vegetarian.
She's vegetarian.
Yeah.
So then he's like, okay, let's go to a party. And she's like, okay. And then they go to this party. It's a high school party and they have a pool inside the house, which was the coolest fucking thing I've ever seen. And then they dance and it's weird. And then he trips and falls. I don't know. It's like weird. But then we see Dylan and she's like starting to want to only hang with Josh. But then we are really seeing that Amy and Josh are not vibing, even though he's trying to force it. And she can pick up Amy and Amy, can pick up on that. Like he likes Dylan. He's like watching her. She's like, and an elephant played in my band. And he's like, that's cool. Cause he's like not paying attention. And then Dylan's like all sad and she's alone. And then he goes and follows her. Cause Amy's like, go, you want to go follow her. And, he's like, I want to ask Amy to like, be, more. And she's like, oh, you should like hold her hand. And he goes, I don't know how to do that. And she like cuddles close next to him on the couch. Amy walks up, Asher walks up and they almost kiss. Val almost kiss. And so Amy's sad. And he asks her to the formal and she's like, no, like you like Dylan. And he's like, no, I don't. And it's stop denying it. And then So when they got broken up on the couch, they were like, we weren't doing anything. She lost her contact. And she's like, I don't wear contacts, because she didn't want everyone to know that she wears glasses like a what, Val? Geek. Val didn't even get a chance to say it. I said it so fast. Okay, so then Dylan woke up late for school the next day, and she dropped her contacts in the sink, and now she can't see. Ha 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 ha.
And she refuses to wear her glasses.
And we find out that the rough cut deadline of the film is due tomorrow, but he needs an extension. But the teacher's like, I can't get you one. And he's like, I need help finishing. And the teacher's like, okay, if you can get together like rough edit by tomorrow morning, I will pull as many strings as I can, but you got to get it in by tomorrow morning in order for like me to save you the spot in the competition. And then we're in class, and Asher breaks up with her via passing a note through class. She puts her glasses on, and everyone's like, you wear glasses? And then she like runs into Josh in the cafeteria, and he's like, I can't hang out with you because I have to get this done. And then she's like mean to him, and she realizes her life is falling apart because no one really wants to spend time with her, and she cries.
But then after telling her he can't spend any time with her, he goes and sits with his friends at lunch. Yeah. Like, it's not like he's like going to edit right then. I didn't understand that at all.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But then, Val, you said he did what? Went to go sit with his friends, but then they kick him out of the film club. So why did he do that? Plot. They needed to kick him out of the film club because he hasn't been there. He didn't come to the mathlete scavenger hunt. And then the girl who had the crush on him is now the president of the film club. They kicked him out. So then he has a heart-to-heart with his mom, and Dylan finds her friends shopping without her, and she's like not going to be friends with them anymore. She has a heart-to-heart with her dad, and then she invites over his girlfriend for the first time. So this is the first time that we're like seeing her be accepting of like someone else that's kind of like not filling a mom role, but filling a mom role. Mm-hmm. And then now we're at the film festival where he is showing his film. I don't know how much time has passed, but they make it seem like it's a day, even though he was like, your spot's going to be taken. I don't know. Weird. Mm-hmm. But then everyone is there. I mean, everyone, like his mom, Asher, Amy, the friends, like everyone is here watching this film. I'm like, there's no way that these quote popular kids would be at this film festival for the town. It's not even like the high school. It's like a town. I don't know. Stupid. Yeah. No, I agree. And so then he plays the beginning where she's very mean popular, and she realizes everyone is laughing at her. And it's funny because she's so uncomfortable. She just keeps tucking her sweater over and like her, like it happens like 3 times where it's like, girl, you've tucked your sweater already. We get it. And then finally she gets up and leaves because she like can't handle the ridicule of everyone laughing at her. But we know, because we're smart humans, that the trajectory of the film is about to change, where it's going to like get complimentary of her because it shows her arc. But she runs out of the film before it gets there, and he runs after her. And she's like, the real me is humiliating. You never cared about me. And she's so upset. And he tries to defend himself a little bit, and then she runs away before he really can. And then everyone ends up loving the movie. You know, everyone's super proud. It's like the best. And then first she's like watching cartoons in her house, and Amy ends up in her house. No doorbell, no ring camera, just in her house. And she's not horrified. She's not screaming that someone's just in my house. No Marta to let you know that Amy's there. And she says that Josh won the competition, and he wanted Amy to bring her the DVD of the film, the finished version. And so she watched the movie. So she's like in better spirits now. She realizes, oh, you know, I should. Because
the movie, she only watched the part that was kind of like less
mean about her.
There's a resolution in the movie where he's like, I actually learned, you know, that she's not a one-dimensional person and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
blah.
She has a personality, and she's really nice, and she's really smart. She showed her A+, you know, like.
Right.
So then we go to she goes to Blossom Ball, and then we find out it was spring formal, but it was never like really clarified until after. So she's wearing her mom's dress, which is cute, but then her dad is there. It's like, why is dad there? Like, it just didn't make sense. And then she's like the most popular girl in school now because of the movie. And her friends are still like the same and pushing people away. Asher is like weird. And
like,
she's
wants
just
to
like,
get back together with her.
Yeah. And you can like tell that she's not into it. And they announce the queen. And she's not even one of the 5 people standing on stage, which I was like, you knew you were one of the 5. But she wins. And then the mean girl who we mentioned at the beginning and then never mentioned throughout is mad. She does a speech. She calls out herself on being a huge biatch in the beginning. And then she like has like real friends are the ones who matter. And she stares like directly into Josh's eyes and basically admits her crush for him. Val? Real kiss. Mm-hmm. And then the film girl dances with the nerd, and then Amy matches up with the other film nerd, which I thought I actually liked that.
Yeah.
And then they do one final interview together, and then they do a slow kiss, which doesn't make sense because we've already seen them kiss, because it was kind of like a will they won't they kiss.
Yeah.
And then that just didn't make sense to me. And then that was the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have like not a blooper clip, but this is the moment, Val, where I was like, oh, I like them. So it took until the credits, which I sometimes say the credits were my favorite part of the movie. Where they're like laughing and she like jumps on his back and they're like, he like has that.
He's like spinning her around and stuff.
Yeah. Like that. I was like, oh, that's the chemistry I wanted throughout the whole movie.
That probably was unprompted. Like that was probably improvised, and that's why it felt more real, because like anything that was scripted and directed, it felt fake.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was the movie, Val.
That was the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have nothing else really to add if you want to.
Yeah, I think.
Wait, I just saw one of my notes that I forgot about. So you had mentioned that the score did something funny at one point. One thing I noticed was every single time that he was talking to Mr. Fraser, the Scottish teacher, there were bagpipes playing.
Really?
Yeah, every time.
That's so funny. I did not notice that.
I forgot about that. Yep. Okay, now I'm ready for bingo.
Okay, you get to go first.
All right. One hit wonder song. There was a song.
There were 2 weird random songs.
Yeah. One was during his makeover. And I think one was at the end. Oh, I guess there's a few songs. So Hey Princess is one that stood out to me. It's performed by All Star Weekend. Does that sound familiar to you?
No. So does that mean it's a one-hit wonder?
I would say so, yes.
Okay.
There's also, I didn't catch this. Apparently they played Ride of the Valkyries by Wagner at some point during the movie. I didn't. Is that the bagpipes? No. No, it's not.
Can we do one-hit wonder for bagpipes?
That'd be so funny. Okay. So yes, we count it.
Cool. Great. Breaking the fourth wall or looking into the camera?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Because the interviews.
Yep. Holiday themed? No. Unless we got spring formal.
And I don't think we do.
We don't.
Clunky metaphor.
I mean, maybe like her putting on her glasses and she finally sees clearly for the first time in a long time.
Oh, I think that's a good one, Val.
Okay.
Yeah. Val's so smart.
I try to hide it though.
Behind your hat.
Behind my hat. Parents who just don't get it. No. In fact, their parents very much get it.
Yeah, that's true.
Both of them. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Scottish non-parent adult. Yes.
Mr. Fraser. Someone too famous for a TV movie. I don't think at this point, no.
Mm-mm. Competition to resolve central problem. Blossom Queen competition.
I mean,
and film competition.
Yeah, but did they resolve the thing?
Well, I mean,
all right, fine.
It did resolve the central problem because the movie ended up getting her to change her trajectory of her life.
Fair.
I'm marking it.
Fine. I also would have preferred this movie if she did not win Blossom Queen.
Yeah, I think so too. But I didn't want the other girl to win.
No, but it could have been like
Amy should have been up there,
or Amy, yeah, like someone else. Because like what she needed to realize, and I think she did, but like then they kind of undermined it by having her win, was that it didn't matter.
Right.
But whatever. A montage sequence. Yes, we just talked about his makeover montage, and I think there were a couple other ones.
Cliche villains.
So many mean high school kids.
Yeah, the Winklevoss twins.
Asher. I mean, my God.
Yeah, what a
awful
rough
human being.
Yeah.
Clothes or items you owned.
I had a skinny scarf.
Okay, I did too. I guess I had a camcorder.
Oh,
not the exact one that he had, but
yeah,
I had a camcorder.
Okay. Rotten Tomatoes 40% to 60%. Val, what do you think?
I don't think this one got a ton of exposure, so I'm going to go on the lower side. I'm going to say 40 even.
And you'd be wrong, Val. It's 56.
Oh my God, come on.
But we get the point.
Great. Happily Ever After. He literally says towards the end of the movie, is this happily ever after? And it is.
It is. Almost kissing.
Yep. At the party.
Yeah, at the party.
Someone who became famous.
Sarah Hyland.
Yeah. For sure.
She's really famous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Betraying of one's real friends or values.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She does.
Yeah. And he does too.
Yeah. He kind of lets his friends down.
Yeah.
Your childhood crush.
Val, it's amazing you bring this up because 11/11/11, I have officially graduated high school. I am now in college. I am 18 years old. I am no longer a child.
Okay.
We have to now rid of this square.
Okay. What did we say we were going to change it to? I can't remember now.
I don't remember. So why don't we this episode give us the square because it's a free space today. And the next episode, we will have it ready to go.
Okay. Fair enough.
Okay. Empty box.
Empty box.
Kind of crazy, you guys. We've made it. I have graduated college. I'm almost as old as Val now. Obviously bad special effects or stunts.
So there's one thing that I noticed, and it's a small thing, but it made me crazy. So at one point, Asher is handing his lunch tray full of food to another person. And it is so obvious that all of the food is glued to the tray. Mm-hmm. And it looks so fake. And it made me so angry that they didn't like redo the take to get it to not look like that. So that I would count that.
Yeah, I think that counts.
Disney Channel star. No. We have some ABC and ABC Family stars, but not a Disney Channel star.
Correct, Val. Musical number. No.
Magic. No.
Someone says the title of the movie.
No. Scooby-Doo. There wasn't really anything to Scooby-Doo.
No. There wasn't like a problem.
Not like that, no.
Yeah. Well, yeah, not like a problem to solve.
Yeah, not like a practical like mystery or something.
Yeah.
The heroes create the problem. Yes.
Which is why I corrected myself in the last box. Yes. The lead is a fish out of water.
Well, kind of. Like he is.
He kind of is. Yeah, when he's with the popular kids. When he's on the ramp.
The ramp that doesn't have a ramp.
Yeah. All right, I'll mark it. Val! We got our one bingo that we love to get.
Wow. Okay.
And that is closer items you owned. Rotten Tomatoes 40 to 60. Happily Ever After. Almost Kissing. And Someone Who Became Famous.
Wow.
We did it.
Right down the middle.
Right down the middle. And you know what that means? Right down the middle. It's time for a game. And this was one of the first times in a long time where I was like, what the heck do I do? So this is not a DCOM centered game. This is a Rank the Bads. It's called Do Rank the Bads. I'm going to give you 5 movies that have a 0, 1, 4, 3, 5% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, and you are going to have to correctly order them.
Okay.
From 0.
Okay.
There's no 2%, basically. It's 0 to 5 with no 2.
Okay. Got it.
Okay.
Are
you ready, Val?
Yes, I'm ready.
These are not in the correct order.
Got it. Okay.
Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Super Babies, Baby Geniuses 2. The Master of Disguise, Dana Carvey.
Oh.
Eternally for the Turtle Club.
That's right. Okay.
Kazam. That's the movie with Shaq, not to be confused with
the one that doesn't exist.
The one that doesn't exist. Yes. And lastly, Caddyshack.
What? Okay.
All right. Val, put those in the order that you think are 0, 1, 3, 4, and 5%. All right, are you finished?
Yep. Okay, I know I'm wrong because it's too close to the actual order that you gave them to me in, but that's okay.
That's okay. Okay, Val.
So I think that Master of Disguise has 0. I think Super Babies has 1. I think Winnie the Pooh has 3. I think Kazam has 4. And I think Caddyshack has 5.
Val, congratulations. You got 1 correct, and you were so close on the other ones. You just had them both flipped invertedly.
Okay.
We have Super Babies, Baby Geniuses 2 at 0%.
Okay.
We have The Master of Disguise at 1%. Mm-hmm. Val somehow knew Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey was 3%. Caddyshack, 4%. And Kazam, not to be confused with Shazam, the movie that doesn't exist, 5%. So Val, congratulations on getting 1 for 5.
Wow, thank you.
You're so welcome. Thanks for playing Rank the Bads. Yay, Val. If we could, we probably would have given this movie I guess like realistically, I would have given this movie a 3.5%.
Yeah.
Amazing. Val, what are we watching next?
We are watching Frenemies.
I almost watched it this time. Okay, well, let's see how that one goes. Like, subscribe, buy merch, eat a hot dog. Okay, Val. Love ya.
Love you.
Wait, what's today? Oh, we didn't even say we talked all about Mean Girls. We didn't even talk about how today was October 3rd.
We're recording on October 3rd.
That's why I mentioned Mean Girls so much.
On October 3rd. He asked me what date it was.
It's October 3rd. Bye, Val.
Bye, Elle. This podcast was produced by me.
And me.
And it was edited by me.
The music was composed by Michael McNally.
You can find us online at thetridentnetwork.com/dcommentaries-pod.
And you can find us on Instagram and TikTok at dcommentaries.
Dcommentaries is a part of the Trident Network. To learn more about our videos, live shows, and other podcasts, please visit thetridentnetwork.com.
Disney Channel original movies.
Damn it, Allie.